Hello everybody, welcome back to the BiermanBlog. Today we're off on a new exciting adventure. We're going to start a new series called
He Said,
She Said, and we're going to use this time to talk about popular topics and kind of give our opinion on both. Today we are starting off with the series Cobra Kai, which is in its third season, currently on Netflix, but it did originate on YouTube in 2018. And it's basically the continuing story from Daniel LaRusso and Johnny Lawrence, two main characters in the movie Karate Kid from 1984. And we're 30 years past their feud, or famous tournament, where Daniel defeated Johnny in the final match by kicking him in the face. And that pretty much is what kicks off episode 1.
yes. So we start the episode with the recap of the end of the first movie. For some reason, they have to put big graphic score up on the screen as well, but I guess that's easier than just having you not know what the score is. Then we get a really not so smooth transfer from the old footage into somebody getting kicked in the face with the crane kick, and then off we go into Cobra Kai.
Yep, and we wake up with Johnny Lawrence, who is surrounded by multiple cans of beer and is living in a very not very high quality apartment in Reseda, where he meets his neighbor Miguel for the first time, and he basically says, yeah, I picked this place because I don't like talking to people, and he takes off on Miguel. We find out that Johnny is working as kind of an on-call handyman and can do a lot of different things, clean gutters, clean septic tanks, install TVs, where that's kind of where he gets in trouble. He installs a TV on a wrong wall and gets into a disagreement with his client, who gets him fired.
Yeah, well, apparently it's not the right wall, so he puts it on the wrong wall. She gets mad.
Okay, we'll figure this out, all right? Just quit bitching at me.
What did you just call me?
And that's how that goes. So now Johnny has no job and
Goes to get his dinner at a Quickie Mart, or not even a Quickie Mart, but
just a
convenience store in a strip mall. He carefully picks out his slice of pizza and runs back into Miguel again, who's picking up some Pepto-Bismol for his grandma, and he goes to sit outside and eats pizza in peace. However, a group of kids pull up, going in with the intention of buying beer, not being old enough to buy beer, and Miguel kind of blows the whistle on that, not intentionally, I think. But he ruins their chances of buying beer, so they first make fun of him for having Pepto-Bismol.
Because Pepto-Bismol is for nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, and
diarrhea.
Yeah.
Yep. So they start calling him Rhea, and they start beating him up, and they push him onto Johnny's car, and Johnny's very proud of this classic Firebird that's not probably in the best of shape, but he tells the kids, hey, be careful of my car. They start making fun of him.
See this guy? Eating his dinner at the mini mart like a bum? Wait, I think I know this guy. He's a jerk off that cleaned my dad's septic tank. Oh!
And it ends up where Johnny ends up kicking one of the kids with a nice karate kick, and actually gets into a fight with all of them.
Yes, because, someone hits your buddy. You're probably already been drinking anyway, which is probably why they're trying to get more beer. Mm-hmm. Or something. I don't think they were all completely sober in the first place. But yeah, it's like, hey, let's get him. He's beating up our friend. And so they all try to beat him up. He basically mops the floor with them, and somehow the cops show up, really quickly, grab Johnny, mace him, and get him arrested.
Yep. And there is a little, I don't know if you noticed it, but there's a nice little callback to Karate Kid 3 when Johnny says to one of the kids, what's the matter? You having trouble breathing? which is an exact line from Karate Kid 3.
What's the matter? Have you trouble breathing?
What's the matter? Having trouble breathing?
From who?
When bad boy Mike hits Danny in the ribs, or right where he can't breathe, and in the final fight. So that was just kind of something that I noticed. But anyway, sorry, that was my fun fact. Johnny gets bailed out of jail and finds his stepfather in his apartment.
Yep. And basically the stepfather says, I've been taking care of you this long just because I loved your mother so much, and I told her I would, but I'm sick of it, and I'm going to buy you out. And gives Johnny a check for I don't know how much money, but apparently it's a lot.
Yep. And so Johnny, rips it in half, says, I don't need you, I don't need your money. So Johnny proceeds to get drunk and watch his favorite show or favorite movie, Iron Eagle 1, and he's watching it on a very old TV. And you can tell he's really in the moment, he's getting emotional in the scene. And then it flips to commercial, and here we have Daniel LaRusso having a commercial for his car dealerships that he owns. So,
and I know local car dealership commercials aren't the best, and I know some of them are probably very cringy, and this one is very cringy. It is, well, first you see like kicked competition anyway on a billboard earlier when Johnny's driving his Firebird at the beginning of the show going to work. But yeah, it's kicked competition. What is it? Chop the prices on your Nissans and Hyundais, and he's doing punching and kicking the fake prices everywhere. And it's just cringy, and it's also weird that he's still holding on to this tournament karate stuff that he did 30 years ago, and he hasn't done since.
As far as we know.
As far as we know.
Right.
So he's riding the coattails of this popularity celebrity that he had from this tournament 30 plus years ago or 30 years ago. And it just seems weird to me that everyone's cool with it. Like, oh yeah, he's the karate guy. He's the guy who kicked this dude with the crane kick and won it all, and he's the champ, and
Yep.
I'm going to buy a car from him. I don't, it's just, I don't like that. But
Yeah. So seeing the commercial ends up just infuriating Johnny, who is so drunk he can't really get his TV off or switch to a different channel, so he just ends up throwing something at it and breaking it. Says, screw this, and...
Oh, you said the bad word.
I said the bad word, yes. And so anyway, Johnny takes off, and obviously drunk. He's driving through town, and he ends up stopping at... I can't tell if this is just the offices of the All Valley...
Well, he pulls up, and they have the parking lot blocked off.
Right. But it says All Valley...
It's the All Valley Arena or something.
Yeah. So he stops there, and he kind of heads towards the building, and he's kind of reminiscing throughout this whole time, driving from his apartment to where he decides to stop, and he just kind of remembers, Allie, he remembers being with his buddy Cobra Kai, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, his car gets hit.
Yeah, not actually rear-ended, because he's parked in the entrance to the parking lot.
Right.
So the rear end of his car is hanging out. And yeah, a bunch of girls in an SUV just, I want to say T-bone, but it's not really T-boning either, but, it hits that rear panel of his car.
Right, and it was pretty hard. And we find out that the driver was actually texting while driving. So we have two teenage girls on the front and one in the back. And Johnny, in his state, he's like, wait, stop. You need to give me your information. We need to call the cops. And
Well, he's also, screaming very loudly, so they're scared.
They're scared, yeah.
Because he's drunk and he's screaming belligerently to open the door.
Yep.
And yeah, so I can see why they drove away.
Right.
But
they never reported it.
But no one ever reported yet.
Right. So he goes off to chase him down, and his car won't start. So unfortunately he has to get his car towed. And when he asks where he needs to pick up his car, he finds out it's actually being towed to one of Daniel's dealerships, which he's not happy about. So he goes to the dealership to pick up his car the next day and really tries his best to avoid Daniel, get his car taken somewhere else because he doesn't want Daniel to have his business or really just know about, and I guess that he's still alive, whatever, I don't know. But he ends up leaving when he hears that Daniel might be around, but Daniel sees him.
It's also like the show's sort of rubbing salt in the wound because the ad was for a dealership that sold Acuras and Hondas and Nissans.
Yeah.
And there was like a Jeep Cherokee in the background. But they tow his car to a luxury dealership that's selling Audis and Porsches and luxury cars. Mm-hmm. And so it's like sort of like, Daniel's doing you're like, oh, Daniel has a car dealership, he's doing okay. And then he's like, oh, he's doing really good because he's got a expensive car dealership. So,
right. And I think they said it was his sixth dealership at some point, that it was his sixth dealership open. So, Daniel comes up, he's real nice. Oh, Johnny, you still have those blonde locks, how you doing? He wants him to meet, his coworker and his cousin. And like, oh, yeah, this is the guy whose butt you kicked. And Daniel's like, well...
If you want to get technical, I kicked his face. I'm just busting your chops.
It was an illegal kick.
Well, it was an illegal kick. But, we're not going to talk about that because I think we both have an opinion on that.
Well, the thing is I watched the first movie again. Yeah, they don't say anything about kicks to the head or face, and people are getting hit in the head and face. But then you get part 3, where Danny is getting taught by the Cobra Kai guy in part 3, and talking about punching people in the face, and he's like, well, that would be against the rules for a full frontal attack or whatever. And it's like, wait, what? It wasn't before. So yeah, I don't...
Yeah.
I think that's where people get the mix-up from. Because they never say it in the first movie that kicks to the face are illegal. So I think that's where people get the mix up.
Well, and Johnny had a warning for his kick to Daniel's face. And then the next...
Oh, I guess I fast-forwarded past that part.
Yeah, so that's the difference. Is Johnny gets a warning instead of the point for his... I don't remember if he kicked him or punched him in the face.
I think it was a punch.
Yeah, and then Daniel kicks him in the head, or kicks him in the face, and wins the match. So, so that was kind of a debate, and this actually gets brought up a couple times. It was a legal kick, he shouldn't have won anyway. But Daniel's finds out Johnny doesn't want to have his car there to be fixed, and Daniel's bragging, yeah, we have the best prices in town. But he looks at the car that hasn't even been assessed yet. Like I said, it was still in an intake lot. But he says, yeah, he goes, well, let me give you my friends and family discount, my own personal code. Well, and he says, well, just let me do it for free because, you'd be doing me a favor. My guys have never they need to practice working on an older car. And, Johnny's too proud. No, I don't need charity. I know that's why you're doing it. And, I can get the money. And then he finds out the car is actually, damaged more than it's worth.
Well, yeah, the damage is more than it's worth. Yeah.
Right. And then he finally, he said, relents and lets Danny fix the car for free.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, he's going to fix it, might as well get it fixed for free. And I think, like you said, because Daniel's daughter shows up at the dealership, and he recognizes her from the truck that hits his car.
Yep, we find out that Daniel's daughter was the one in the backseat of the car that hit Johnny's car the night before.
So he sees her, and I think that clicks off and said, you know what? You do owe me. So then he says, yeah, go ahead. Which, if he's going to offer it anyway, might as well take it. I mean, if I was Johnny at that moment, I'd be like, you suck it up and be like, yeah, cool. I'll get my car fixed for free. Awesome.
Yep. So Johnny leaves and goes back to his apartment, and he's like, you know what? I didn't throw away my stepfather's check. I ripped it up, but you know what? I'm going to put it together. And he goes to Miguel, and he tells Miguel, you know what? I'm going to be your sensei. I'm going to teach you karate. I'm going to teach you the way of Cobra Kai. Well, not in so many words, but he finds a dojo place for a dojo, and He puts strike first, strike hard, no mercy on the wall, and then you see this. I mean, I'm sorry. I think this is probably what made me decide to buy a membership to YouTube Premium, since this is how or where it was originally done. So it was originally on YouTube Premium, which I can't remember how much it cost. I want to say like $15 a month. But the first episode was free, and I was on the fence. I'm like, I don't know if I really want to pay for this. But I watched this first episode, and I think not only did I like the whole episode, but at the end, Johnny looks looks right at the camera, puts the headband around it. Yeah, I don't know if it's supposed to be called this, but a black headband around his head, and he faces the camera, and I really do like the kind of like the score, or the music they play at the end, and that was the moment I said, okay, you know what, I'm going to shell out, like I said, I think it was like $15. I shelled out $15, and I binged the rest of the season, and then I canceled my premium.
Did they release the whole season at once?
They did. Yep, they did.
Okay.
They did. So season 1 was free, but they had all the other ones available if you buy YouTube Premium. So I paid for it. I watched it. I think I took 2 days to watch it because I was working at the time as well. So I kind of had it on in the background, and then I went ahead and rewatched it as well. So I'm a sucker for nostalgia boners. You know, when something really kind of speaks to me, I know that it's a funny phrase, but just something that really kind of strikes you, I'm like, okay, this could be good. And I can't even remember if it had a lot of hype, but I do remember seeing a lot of YouTube ads about it. So
they were hyping this up back then.
Yeah. And so I watched it, I loved it, and here we are 2 years later. I just finished season 3, which is personally my favorite, and we'll kind of talk about why that is later. But this was episode 1. I mean, there's a lot of packed into it. We meet, we re-meet Johnny, we re-meet Daniel, we meet his daughter Sam, more or less. We meet his neighbor, Johnny's neighbor Miguel, and all 4 of those are going to be, you know, pretty central characters to our story.
Yep, and I didn't have the nostalgia boner, and I didn't really care about the show. Didn't really want to watch it. I think I did watch this first episode when it was free, just because she was watching it, and yeah, I didn't like the fact that they made Johnny's life a bunch of crap after the tournament. How do you go from being
0 to 0?
You know, yeah, you came in second in a tournament, and it was your last tournament that you could be in because you're going to turn 18, and your life just drops off. And then, like, LaRusso's life all of a sudden skyrockets, and he's like the hero because he wins a tournament. You were a 2-time champion, but your life is like, oh, there's you know, Johnny Lawrence, the champ, you know, and no, it's all, there's Danny LaRusso, the champ. I didn't like that, and I was just like, this is just
Moneymaker.
Yeah, it's just, they're just tugging on your nostalgia strings. It's just going to be more of the same of, I hate you, I want to fight you, and I hate you, and I want to fight you, and we're going to get our kids involved, and then, so I didn't care to watch any of it. But she watched season 3 and said, you know what, I want to talk about it, and I was like, I'm going to watch all of them, and we'll talk about it all for you guys. So.
Right. And since we are 80s nerds, we were inspired by the movie with Kevin Bacon and Elizabeth Perkins. I think about her last name. They had a movie in the 80s called He Said, She Said, and it was very similar. 2 people who have completely different opinions about everything, which is generally how we roll most of the time, which is why we work. So we hope you enjoyed the recap of our episode 1, season 1, and we will hope to see you guys back. We're going to be recapping every episode. There's 10 episodes a season, so that's 30 episodes or 30 videos that you need to spend with us. So if you like this video and want to see more, hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and make sure you hit that bell notification, because then you'll be able to know when our next episode goes live.
All right, awesome.
Thank you guys.